Shalom alaikum. Mashat baka. Shalom alaikum. Kabariyam. Kwam natazarayam. Kwam yasha Allah. Kwam. Ko'o hala lowa ya. Bahasham hamashiach. Yahawashai. Alahayam nawa. Yabarakaka Yahweh. Ua yasha maraka. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to another production of edification. I am your host, Akbar Labar Yasha Allah. In this episode of production edification entitled Esau, the Barbarian, I desired to tell the story of Edom's rise from the prehistoric Ice Age. However, before I could tell of Edom's rise, I needed to use our Abari records to tell the truth about his fall and banishment to the wilderness. You see, while we were held mental captives in Christianity, we never really learned anything about the truth of his story. And so we never knew how certain verses of scripture applied to us or to them. Many of our people still ask why this devil hates us so much when we don't recall ever doing any wrong to him. But since the infusions of spiritual clarity and understanding, the books have been open to us. Now we can apply the truth to the tale of their story and paint a more accurate picture and honest picture of his story as well as our own story, which is what I intend to do. It is wise to recognize also that his story is not the same as our story, which is a mystery. When he talks about transformation from ape Neanderthal to mankind, that's his story and his search for a missing link. When he talks of living in caves as a caveman and clefts of the rocks in an ice age with wild beasts, that's history, not our story. But most importantly is that the truth is all documented to a certain degree in our Abari records, and only we have the keys to unlock those my stories, because they are my stories, our stories.
Father, no! Oh, no! How could you have given away my blessings? Father, how? Oh, my Father, do you not have another blessing to give? Bless me also, Father. Bless me also. Father, please. Behold, my son Esau, your dwelling shall be the best parts of the earth, in high mountainous places where the dews of heaven forms. You shall live by the Atlantean sword, Excalibur, and manifest your destiny by your own hand. You shall serve your brother, but you will rebel and break his yoke from your neck. No, Father, don't leave me, Father, please. The days of mourning, my Father, death is at hand, but when complete, I will kill my brother Jacob for supplanting my birthright and my blessings. Come away, dog. Come away from that foul-smelling, hairy Bigfoot beast before you catch fleas or ticks. Or worse, it catches you and rapes you and takes you home for dinner. Come away from that beastly, foul mutt. Come away, dog. Come on.
For wanting a terrible famine, these cannibals needed to be isolated to a solitary existence. Who wants to be eaten alive? For those who ventured too far into that territory often would never be seen again. They would be tortured, perverted, killed, and eaten. They were and are children of fools, morally perverse men, scum of the earth. This is the legacy that they left behind. Disgusting acts. For want and the terrible famine, they fled into the highlands and mountain dews in search of food, a place that was in times past a frozen wilderness and wastelands. It was they who cut up the mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. And among the bushes they brayed, and under the nettles they did gather. Yet and still others were driven away by angry neighbors, who yelled at them, "Murderers, thieves, perverts, be gone! Never return again." Yes, it was they who were driven away to dwell in the cliffs of the valley, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Yea, the children of Esau, Adumia. Then came the snow and the blizzards, creating a frozen wilderness, a desolate wasteland of times past.
This is the biblical story of Edom's red dragon nation rise to power after their prehistoric ice age experience. Surely as Allah exists, he would enlarge the enlarger, and the enlarged would dwell in the houses of Shem, and Canaan surely shall be his servant. It would be through conflict and wars that nations would be joined together to form empires and dynasties. The same severe famine that drove Edom into the clefts, the caves, and the rocks also drove Jacob, Israel, and his family into Egypt under the prophetic leadership of Joseph, who nursed them through that famine. So Edom's stay in that winter wilderness could only have been but a few hundred years, a mini ice age, because Job 30 tells us the children had returned and reestablished themselves in the land, and were giving Job an extremely hard time with constant harassment and vile mistreatments. Now the story picks up in the book of Yasher, chapter 90, which tells us that at that time, 5 years after the children of Yasher Allah had passed over the Jordan River and had defeated the Canaanites, at that time great and severe battles arose between Edom and the children of Shittim, and Abianus, the king of Shittim, went forth with a great armed forces of professional military men of the children of Shittim. And he went to Mount Seir to fight against the children of Esau. And when Hadad, the king of Edom, received news reports of this, he went forth to meet them with a great battle group of his own, and engaged them in battle in the fields of Edom. The strength of Shittim prevailed over the children of Esau, and they slew 22,000 men of Edom's army, and the rest retreated from the field of battle. And the army of Shittim pursued after them and captured King Hadad of Edom alive, who was running ahead of them, and they brought him to Abianus, the king of Shittim, and he ordered Hadad be killed in the 40th year of his reign. And the army of Shittim continued their pursuit, and killed with a great slaughter the army of Edom, and Edom became colonized citizens and servants to the children of Shittim. And the children of Shittim ruled over Edom, and Edom came under the authority of Shittim, and became one kingdom from that day forward. They could no longer lift up their heads. Their kingdom became one with the children of Shittim. And Abianus placed officers in Edom, and the children of Edom became citizen servants and taxpayers to Abianus. Then Abianus returned to his own land, Shittim. Now in verse 28, we see Abianus died 7 years after ruling over Shittim and Edom, and Latinus reigned in his stead. During Latinus' reign, he gathered the army and went forth against the inhabitants of Britannia and Kerniah, and the children of Elisha of Javan. He prevailed and made them subjects and taxpayers. Then Latinus heard that Edom revolted from under the authority, and he went to them and killed them and subdued them and placed them back under the authority of the children of Shittim. And Edom became one kingdom with Shittim from that day forward.
And now, let us fast forward to the man every Caucasian person identifies with, Alexander the Great. in the book of Maccabees. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had killed Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. The first over Greece. What does that mean? The first what? Prior to this event, Greece was just another annexed state or territory of the Medo-Persian Empire. But when Alexander defeated Darius, he moved the center of power from Babylon to Greece and exalted Greece over Babylon, which had been the governing center of the world for the longest period of time. So Alexander became the first head of state, king of Greece, or the Grecian Empire, which he exalted. Through many wars and winning many strategic military bases along trade routes, and he killed many kings of the earth. He went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, so much so that the earth was quiet before him. Because of that, he was exalted and puffed up in heart. And he gathered the greatest military armed forces and ruled over countries, nations, and kings, of all of whom paid taxes to him. The result of this Grecian overspreading, the world, says the Bible, that evils were multiplied in the earth, not added, but multiplied.
Woe is me. I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls.